Thanks for tuning to Lesko Free Radio. I got a heck of a show for you today. Actually, I spent almost all week just trying to put together this 1 hour show. So it's really the best I got all week. So pay attention, I think. It's some really important stuff. Maybe not all of it's so important to everybody, but it is valuable. One of the items I have today is tell you exactly why free internet money is better for your business than grants. That's government grants. Even though I make a living for the last 30 years selling you information about government grants, this is even better, I think. Why it's better than loans, why it's better than venture capital, and it's going to really grow in incredible proportions soon. So I give you all the facts on that, and that's one of the items. That's just one. Then we have another website I'll tell you about how you can get fat cats, put your idea on this, and really rich investors are looking for ideas like this. So anybody really, it gets vented a little bit. There's 2 levels. If you've really been an entrepreneur for a while or you're just starting out, and they help you to put your idea into fat cats, so you don't have to go to New York and things like that. You go right on the web, and they'll do that for you. Or here's another neat idea, if your car is sitting around doing nothing, how to make money off that. You can make money off your car, right? And also get free parking at the airport. It's a great idea. And some young guy put this together, and I'll tell you all about that. And then also, there's 2 app stories I have. One about how a guy got a young man, for $5 he invested in this website, and they got $7,000 for app to have his app development. And it's an app that gets people together, people in your neighborhood and things like that. Then another guy who raised like $23,000 on next to nothing for his idea. So how to make money on your idea by just knowing where to go on the web. I'll show you. So watch this. What I really want to get across to you today is that for you to understand that getting money for your business from the internet is better, faster, cheaper than getting a grant, than getting a loan, or even venture capital. Man, it's going to change the whole new game, for anybody looking for money to do what they really want to do in life, And this is a way, it really comes from the crowd. And that's why they call it crowdfunding, and it's from people on the internet who believe in what you're doing, and that's why it's better than ever going to some fat cat middleman, And this is, I think, is going to be, bigger than anything else on the internet since pornography. And I've listed really a whole bunch of things why this is so important and for people to know about and take advantage of, just like the government programs I've been talking to you about. But this is probably even better. So I'm going to put myself out of business. So pay attention. First, it's free. That's right. It costs you nothing to apply to this money. Also, it has no income requirements. You can be filthy rich or dirt poor, and no one's going to care. They're not even going to ask for a credit check. That's right. And there's no credit check. That's right. Where else are you going to apply for money and not have a credit? All you need is a credit card or a debit card for this. That's right. And you keep the money forever. That's right. No one's going to ask you for the money back. It's not a loan. It's not even a grant. So they're not going to come out and pester you. Did you put in the money? Most consider it just a gift. As long as you say, as long as you do what you say you're going to do. And here's a neat thing too. There's no complicated forms, business plans, lawyers, or accountants. You get the money with all those traditional bureaucratic hurdles. No one believes in all that goddamn information anyway. You're all just guessing, but you do it because the bureaucrats ask for it. So there's none of that. You just have to be clear about why you need the money. And most people use a video, to explain their project. Also, it's fast, man. In 30 or 60 days, it's all done, and you know if you got the money. And you'll be sitting there with a big pot of cash to work on your project. And that's all it takes. I mean, the government doesn't work that fast most of the time. Sometimes it does. And here, you don't have to put up with fat cat gatekeepers. I think this is one of the biggest issues about getting money and going begging from, the rich people or organizations. See, getting money from banks and government agencies can haunt you forever with paperwork or audits or whatever the heck it is. And fat cats could even be worse, because they have some arbitrary requirement. Oh, I want this to be blue or pink or whatever, who knows why. Or they want you to hire their girlfriend or something like that. You don't have to put up with all that nonsense, people that give you money. And you feel obligated to them because they give you the money. So you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. Also, crowdfunding money is a better guarantee of your ultimate success. Because by not going to gatekeepers, you're going directly to the customers. See, the money comes from customers or potential customers and not from these middleman fat cats who really aren't your customers. Says the customers are the ultimate, decider of your success on your future anyway. Does this sell? So if the customers like what you want to do and they want it, then they give you money to go do it. So you already have customers. So you'll know in 30 days if you have a viable business. Going through that other process, that two-step process, you have to go first to the fat cats or the bureaucrats, convince them it's a business, and they don't really know either because they're not your customers. And then take that money and go find the customers and maybe to see if you have a business or not. So you eliminate that step. It's faster, and with the fat cats, if you fail, when you fail, man, you got them calling you on the phone forever and complaining or whatever. And so you eliminate all that kind of stuff. And so that's why, here's another thing. Crowdfunding is a better, faster way to prove your idea is great. In 30 days, you know that paying customers love your idea, and you'll be sitting there with that pot of cash, and it won't cost you hardly anything but your time and just a little out of pocket, maybe not even that, sometimes. Okay. Also, here's the important thing. It's the fastest, cheapest way to fail. Fail is important because that way you could find out what you really should be doing and go and make that. If your idea doesn't work, you've lost very little. You just lost some time and a little out-of-pocket money. But you'll have learned a whole lot of information about what was wrong with your product. See, the only way you really know is you go out and ask customers about it. And they tell you, hey, no, I'm not going to give you money for that. And you just can't ask them. You have to ask them for money for it. Because ask them if they like something, like in a market study, everybody will just be nice to you, and you really don't know if they'll put up money for it. So if people put up money for it, then you know you got a success. And that's why market studies are stupid, because people aren't putting up money. But here, in this kind of thing, people are putting up money. Yes, I believe in what you want to do. Here's the money. I want to help you do that. And that's wonderful, because now you're guaranteed that this is success. And if they say no, then that's great news too, because now you have to go out and find out what's wrong with your idea and work on it. I mean, I've written 100 books and only like 10 have made money. I'm wrong 90% of the time. We all are. Nobody knows. But the market will tell you what's good or bad. So you know ahead of time now, before you even make it, you make your product or service or whatever it is, that it's not good. You don't have to waste time. That's why I used to do sometimes in my work in books, I used to put an ad for the book. This book is available, $19.95 or whatever, and not even have the book. I wouldn't ship, because if nobody bought it, I didn't want to work a year on a book. And that's what this does. It solves that problem. You know in advance if you're going to work on it, hey, this sucker's going to sell because look, I got all these people bought it already. That's why it's just going to help our society, help everything grow faster, because you'll know sooner about success and don't have to go through that first step process. Plus, it costs you nothing to fail. That's the important thing. And that's the only way to survive. Because nobody knows what's right, so you have to go out and try. And here's a way to try without costing you anything. Because if it costs you, 10 grand or 100 grand or whatever it is, you can only do that so many times before you're out of the game. This you can do forever because it doesn't cost you anything, just your time. Okay. Now here's one of the neatest things about this stuff. It's the only place that you can go and ask for funding and you may get more than you asked for. And a lot of times that happens. happens. People like your product, and you're saying, hey, I need $2,000 to do this. Well, I've talked to people, so many of them, oh, the crowd gave me $7,000, not $2,000, so I can make a better product. This one guy I talked to, he was asking for $23,000 to do a product, and he wound up getting $550,000, right? Over $500,000, and all he wanted was 20 grand. So, well, a bank's going to give you that? You're going to ask for $5,000? No, why don't we give you $500,000? Nonsense, kind of thing. And see, this has really taken over, I think, the world or country or whatever. And right, even now, the government is known for giving grants, and one of the grants they give are like artists. Well, already, crowdfunding gives more grants to artists than the government does. Look at last year in 2012, the government gave out $146 million in grants to artists. Crowdfunding gave over $343 million, twice as much as that. And that's what's neat. It's an exciting thing that's going on. Watch it, learn about it. You have to, I think, to survive in our country and to learn the best sources of money. These are people giving you money. People, they're better than bureaucrats, giving you money, because then you don't have to put up with bureaucrats. You put up with friendly crowds that really believe in you and want to do it because they want to be part of it. And that's what's neat. Now here's the top crowdfunding sites, and there's more than this anymore. Kickstarter, Indigo, they're more or less the top two, but the others are very important. They're like special ones for geeks, special one for African American, the Black fundraiser site, the Black Startup is for Black entrepreneurs. And there's some for music, and all kind of other things. But these are the major ones for business and entrepreneurs and those kinds of ideas. Even nonprofit organizations too. So it's not just business, it's any kind of ideas. Now I've interviewed dozens and dozens of entrepreneurs who got money through crowdfunding, whether it's $500 or $500,000. Now here's a guy who quit his job, invested $150 in his video for the crowdfunding site, and he got $350,000. And he's so fortunate, doesn't he have to spend time on the Los Angeles freeways commuting to work. He does it at home. Or here's another fellow. Now listen, he says forget startup grants or loans or something like that. He got $695,000 from potential customers for a hoodie he was making. It's a 10-year guarantee hoodie. It's great. Or look at these two brothers. They work at this part-time only because they have full-time jobs. They invested $11 and they got almost $90,000 for their little, it's a little camping item that they invented and Or this fella here, he admits it when I interviewed him that he was a thug. He was a bad person. Drugs, crime, and everything. And he went to the internet and got $8,500 so he can work on being a singer. Right. See, well, there's no credit check there. Right? Or here, this fella talks about how a free web page generated $1 million. That's right, $1 million on his website. Okay. Or here, this is a young fella just out of college. He learned how to get $15,000 to make t-shirts out of scrap. That was an idea he had. Now we're going to take all the old t-shirts and make new ones out of them. People give him $15,000 to do that. Or these two college graduates who raised $7,000 in 21 days. You can't do that in college. You can spend $7,000 in 21 days, not raise it, for an instant ice cream startup. This is great stuff. Or this lady who started a blog and raised $11,000 so she could do a cookbook. That's right, went from a blog to a cookbook, but she needed that 11 grand to do it. And the crowd gave it to her. This young couple here out in San Francisco, actually they immigrated, sounded like them, from Virginia, moved out there, and they got $90,000 in 30 days for their idea that took all your computer cores and bundled them all together. Sounded simple, but it got $90,000 for that idea. Or this teenager here, man, if a teenager can get $12,000 for his invention, why can't you? Because you haven't used it yet, you haven't tried. That's the difference between the teenager and us. The teenager tried and got. Or this bartender got $10,000 to make an herbal sweetener. No synthetics, no garbage you're putting in your mouth. All just good stuff. Or this guy here, he's the most amazing. He even tried to dress like me in the interview, if you could see that. And he was asking for $23,000, but the crowd gave him $556,000. And I said, how could you be so wrong? See what I mean? How it's a nice problem to have. And I have these interviews, if you want to see them on YouTube, and my you could do a subscription, Matthew Lesko, YouTube/Matthew Lesko 70, because I'm 70, so it's Matthew Lesko 70. It's on YouTube if you want to see those videos. But more importantly, use the crowdfunding sites. Get to know them. How you could get them, because later on I'll show you, not only for entrepreneuring, you could use crowdfunding to pay hospital bills, to help your friends, to improve the neighborhood, to travel overseas. There's so many other ways to do this. It's an exciting thing that's happening, and it's happening right in your computer, so you don't have to go anywhere else to take advantage of it. You already got it. You know how expensive it is to drive the airport and leave your car there for a few days, and they charge outrageous fees? Well, here's a way to not only get there better, but make money out of the transaction, get your car cleaned, and even get a discount rental. It's called Flight Car. I want to show you an interview with a fellow who started this business. And what they do is, when you go to the airport and fly away, you drive to their lot at the airport, they clean your car and fix it up and everything, and they rent it for you. And they have an insurance and everything like that. And then when you come back, then they give you a limo to the airport, and then they pick you up when you come back, and you get your car all clean and fixed up and money to boot. Now, how great is that? And it's also a place to get real good discounted rentals, almost half the regular price. And they have a limo that comes up and picks you up and takes you to the car. How great is that? So watch this interview. Well, Kevin Petrak, and you got this great idea. I don't know why anybody didn't do this earlier, called Flight Car, where I could take my car to the airport. You pick me up, right? You clean my car, you rent it out, you pick me up when I come back, give me the keys to my car, I'm off, and I make money off you instead of paying the parking lot, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So basically, we allow you to park your car with us for free while you're away, and then we rent your car out to other people while you're gone. We clean the car and wash it before, and we have our own insurance policy that covers it. Everything, while it's being rented, so it's very secure. And then when you come back, you don't have to pay for parking, and you can also make money.
So I make money, you make money, and the people who use my car are making money too, because they're not paying like double the price they'd have to with the normal car people, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So now, if I come to the airport and I use one of your cars, how do I get to you? Do you have a van like everybody else?
So it's like the same thing. It's the same thing. You basically just give us a call once you're at the airport or at a nearby train station or whatever,
right.
And we'll basically send a car to pick you up right there, and take you back to our parking lot.
Wow! So I got limousine service with you too, huh?
Yeah.
And the airports you're at now are which ones? Where are you now?
So we're at San Francisco and Boston, and we're gonna be in LA by the end of the summer.
Oh, really? In LA? Well, I mean, they're three big hubs, boy, and they're really big car cities. It's not like New York. Nobody gets a car when they go to New York.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So you got the biggest car city. Well, that's terrific. And I was looking on the site, man. You got sexy cars there too. I mean, it's not somebody's 57 Chevy. Well, that'd be cool, but a beat up Dodge in the 80s or something.
Yeah, we do have some requirements, so we won't just take any car. It can't be older than 2001, can't have more than 150,000 miles on it, stuff like that. Just so we can make sure that everyone has a pretty good experience as well.
Yeah. No, I mean, I saw the pictures of the car. I mean, all the cars are something I'd be curious to even
test drive. I'm not much of a car junkie anymore like I was when I was younger, but they all look attractive. I mean, that's what I was surprised. I was thinking maybe it'd be like Rent-A-Wreck or something like that. I don't know if you know that rental car agency. They have.
I've definitely heard of them, but no, we definitely get a great variety of cars, from the lower, cheaper end all the way up. So, it's
And
great.
you're
It's
covered
great to
by
see
an
the
insurance
variety.
policy, so I don't have to worry as an owner of a car letting you use it, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's completely covered, while it's being rented out. So, basically anything happens to it, it'll be covered.
And is your policy more or less like a regular rental car policy? I mean, I just give you a credit card and you charge me 20, 30 bucks a day, whatever it is, and that's it?
Yeah, so our policy covers the owner completely. We also give some free coverage to the person renting the car as well. In that case, it's like a rental car as well, in that your own personal policy will sort of stand in line first. If you have your own car insurance, but our insurance is there as a backup. In case you don't have your own, something like that, just to make sure in all cases the owner gets their car back to how it should be.
I see. So if they wreck my car or something, you're covered, or if I'm not covered, you're covered for something like that?
Exactly, yeah. So if they wreck your car, we'll obviously make sure you get the car replaced or fixed or whatever, and then we'll deal with the renter and all the insurance companies and everything, and make sure that we get it reimbursed ourselves. But we definitely wouldn't want to make you wait a month, while we're dealing with that kind of stuff.
Ah, well, that's terrific. Well, that's wonderful. Well, I mean, I'm just glad to know you're around. It sounds like, it's the way we're going to go in this country. We got enough cars. We're just not using them properly, it seems. And so if they're there, why don't we get more efficient use out of them? And
Exactly.
I guess really, it just, it's not a zip card kind of thing. It's somebody private sharing, right?
Exactly, yeah. Zipcar calls themselves car sharing as well. This is a little bit more, advanced car sharing, in that it's actually people's own cars. As I mentioned, there's a few other companies that do that in the neighborhood, like relay rides and get around. So they're more like hourly rentals instead of rentals,
Right.
directly perhaps at the airport or at some kind of transit area.
So zip cars are really a rental car just for short periods of time. I mean, to me, it's
More or less, yeah.
yeah. I mean, you're actually individuals are making out of this, and not the zip car company like they are, which is great. I'm getting more. If I give you my car, I'm making money out of it. For when I'm not using it, which is terrific. Like what you gonna do my lawnmower? Now, if you could throw golf clubs in the trunk of that car, then I could go to San Francisco and have golf clubs too.
Now, there's a lot of car sharing, outfits out there. I mean, Hertz and everybody is getting into the business. Zipcar is one that's in a lot of cities. It's in our city, and you just get a car by the hour. Now, here's even a better way where they have peer-to-peer short rentals. So this is a way you could take your car. You're going away for a few days. You put it in one of these peer-to-peer rentals, and you make money, and they're insured and all this kind of stuff. And here's a big one called Get Around, GETAROUND. So if you're looking on the web, it's peer-to-peer car rentals. And you have a car you're not using, you might as well make some money out of it. And these companies are insured and everything. We don't need more cars. We certainly have enough cars in the world. So if someone just needs a car for a while, they could use yours and you make money at it. Cool. Now here's a crowdfunding site for investors and entrepreneurs, and especially startups looking for funding. Now this is a pretty special site. It's called WeFunder.com, and it's fairly new. And actually, the people who started this site was really involved in getting Obama to include investing in the Jobs Act. Now this change in the Jobs Act for investing is going to be a big thing. It's starting now, and it's going to be for more people to use the internet to invest in any kind of company. Now, it started already, but the big stuff hasn't started until like January. So now to invest on the internet, you have to be a registered investor. And their website does this. And a registered investor means you have to have an income at least like $200,000, or you have assets, not including your home, of $1 million. So that's a fat cat, sort of, but it's not the 1% yet. It's a little below that. But starting in January or so, it's going to be almost for anybody. So you could go on, you're making, 50 grand or something like that, or even less, and go on and be eligible to invest in startups and companies, the next Google or whatever it is, and you won't have to be going to country clubs to find these opportunities. So this is one of those sites. So now they take money to invest in the startups on the sites, but that you have to be registered. And the companies that are there are really cool companies. They're doing fun stuff. I mean, one company has a new a way of making divorce cheaper and kid-friendly. Right, I mean, these are important issues they seem to be working on this site, and looking for funding for them. So if you have an important issue or an idea you think is important for society, this may be a good site for you. They're funding a lot of research that the government doesn't want to do for some reason, because the government can't do anything. So they're putting it on their site and finding investors to invest in this kind of research. Or they have another thing they just funded was a cheaper way for companies to get company benefits to their employees, and things like this. So I would take a look at this. It may be for you, it may be not. There's 2 levels to get your business on this site for investors or funding. And one is a pretty low bar. It's a little easy to get on. And the other one, where they highlight real special cases, is a higher bar. And this is really for people already involved in the startup industry. And there's a lot of professional societies that work with startups and things like that. And so it's really for that. So one of those levels ought to be for you, and to check it out. So this is a site where you can get money for your business, or a site if you want to be an investor and invest in hot, new, interesting startups that are doing interesting things in life. So watch this interview. Michael Norman, this is an incredible thing you're doing. Man, I am, up front, I am so envious that you're hanging around people that have these projects on your site. Man, they are just things that I wish I could talk about. I wish I could be involved in. So how do people get involved in these projects that you're looking for investors for?
So if you are an accredited investor, you can come to WeFunder right now, sign up, go through an accreditation process, and then see these great startups that we have on there that are solving really important problems. Take investment right away.
I mean, it's not just like losing your wallet or something like that. Man, I mean, you're solving, like that WeVorce, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Man, that's an incredible. I've been through 2 divorces. My wife's listening to me. I said 3 by accident. So, and that's it. And this is fun. Being in Washington and next to NIH that has all this grant funding, and you're crowdfunding for science research that nobody else will fund, and they just sound like great projects, man. Or the food thing. I'm not sure what's Goldbelly about.
So we can't actually talk.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you have to go on the site and find out. But these things, affordable benefit plans. I mean, or the app, a cheap way to get an app on your phone. Man, if you're a small business or something, I mean, that's right up everybody's alley, because everybody knows that the world is passing you by if you don't get your stuff on the phone. And you found a group that's looking for money to make small businesses do that, and that's terrific. So what's involved in getting credited or getting on your site to maybe participate?
So we actually got involved in this by helping pass a law that will allow anyone to invest in startups.
Oh, that's right. You're a lobbyist too. I forgot.
It's really important that anyone have the opportunity to invest in a lot of these companies, which we really think, not only have the chance to be huge financial successes like Facebook or Twitter or any of these other companies, but they're also solving real problems.
Yeah.
We believe that innovation is really driven by entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship, and that everyone in the country should have an opportunity to invest and help, those companies see the light of day and help them really tackle the issues that we all need to solve as a society. So, to getting that law passed, being in the White House when the president signed it into law was the first step in building WeFunder. Now, the law kind of comes into effect in a few different stages. So right now, you have to be an accredited investor in order to invest through WeFunder, which means you have either $200,000 a year in income or $1 million in assets, minus the value of your primary residence. So that is kind of the way that we're funding companies right now. And hopefully at the beginning of next year, that opportunity is going to open up to everyone in the country to enable them to start investing on.
So right now you're at least below the 1%. Yeah, that could have, before that, like to get into Facebook or all these, when they went public, you had to be probably one of the 1%, to get into that stuff, right?
That's right.
And then by next year, you could be in the 99% practically and get into a deal through your play. And so you're getting this stuff out of the smoke-filled rooms. It was so funny that you learned how to be a fat cat by lobbying Congress, but you had no experience, and you just went and did a petition, and they paid attention to you, and you didn't even have an office on K Street. How did that work?
I think it was one of those situations where the timing was right. They knew they wanted to get this bill done, but they didn't have a lot of experience with entrepreneurship or with the internet. And then when we were able to show credibility by galvanizing this entire startup community to say, look, there are certain things that we need in this legislation for it to work, we became the voice that they were willing to listen to. And so it's one of those stories of democracy that you hear about in the abstract, but doesn't often happen in reality. So
it's Jimmy Stewart on the floor of the Senate. Huh? You're too young to even know who Jimmy Stewart is, right? It was an old movie, and he did a filibuster in a movie. Anyway, and changed the world. But that's terrific. So you learned the system to use it. You're not professional lobbyists, but you were able to do that, to do something for the rest of small investors, small companies, and really for the nation, right? Because if we don't create new stuff to get out of the mess we're in, nothing's going to happen for us. How about being accepted on the site? What's the process for that? As a business.
Yeah, there's two levels. One for the kind of self-service platform where anyone can really come up and build a profile. There's a pretty low level of due diligence that we do to make sure it's a legitimate business, that the idea is real, to make sure that we're protecting our investors from any kind of fraudulent claims or anything like that. The other side, which is our startup of the week process, is actually extremely highly curated. So we really look for companies that are coming out of accelerators that have business models that we know something about, that we're very interested in, products that we like the way that they work. Investors sometimes that we respect that have already invested. So those are kind of the two levels of filter that you'll have to go through to get onto WeFunder.
So the first level is a low bar for people to get in. The second one is a higher bar. You jump. So if you've been around being an entrepreneur for a while and been involved, I guess, in entrepreneur activities, you may be more eligible for that one. But more people could get in the first level, right? Mm-hmm. Great. Well, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing. You guys are going to do well. And even if not, man, you're going to educate people about what's going on. And if it screws up, you go back and change the legislation for something that really does work. You know how to do that now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
If you have an idea to write a book nowadays in this country, you might want to get rid of it. Because actually books seem to be going nowhere almost, at least in the future. Sure, they'll be around for a long time, and I still read them, but what's growing, if you're looking on the wave to communicate to people, you gotta start looking at apps. There are now over almost 1 million apps available, in the Apple Store, for apps, everything on the phone. And there's only about 323,000 or something like that new books printed every year. So, there's 3 times as many apps already as new books coming out. So you should start learning. And see, it's actually almost the same process as if you wanted to start a book. If you wanted to do a book, you'd go to a big publisher and find out who's printing books like this, and you get an advance from them to write the book. That's what I did. But now it's apps. And I want you to meet somebody, Matt Hudson, who had an idea for a trivia game. Okay, instead of writing a book, he's doing an app. And he went to this site. It's App Story. Okay, this is where, for nothing, it doesn't cost you anything to do this, you put the story of your app and how you envision doing it on this website, And then people who think, hey, this is a cool idea, they give you money to develop your app. So before you even do the app, you could get money. And he got $2,000 to do his trivia app like that. And that was development money. Then he took that money and helped develop it. Then you could hire an app developer if you want, or something like that, who knows how to code. He knew how to code, but he needed some money to do other things. And then he went and put it on another website called Apptopia. Okay, now this is a website where you take your app that you just developed, because you went to one website to give you money to develop, and on Apptopia, there's people looking for app ideas that they know they can sell. And he got like, what was it, $30,000, I'm sorry, $23,000 for his app. So really, he started with nothing, wound up with $23,000, because this company or person, whoever it was, said, I know who will sell this app, yeah, and do it. And actually, the bottom line of all this, he loves trivia. So that's why he did it on the trivia app. So watch this interview and learn how to do this stuff. This is a way to communicate nowadays. Well, Matt Hudson, man, you're the app king, and I just saw data about apps. I mean, they're so important in our country now, because like 1 million apps in the App Store now. And we only publish like 325,000 books. But you've heard this the last time I told you that.
Right. So, a lot of competition.
Right, so it's, now you used, you had no money, and you went to that website called App Story, AppStory, and you got money for your first app before you even wrote a stick of code?
We put our story out there, showed them what we want to build, and we raised about $3,000. Give or take.
Wow. So you get $3,000, and people give you like from $500 to $5 to
small
$500.
amounts all the way up to bigger amounts, whatever they like, and we give them stickers, memorabilia.
Right, so they get memorabilia. I got a T-shirt, and you got an app.
Right, that's the idea.
Wow. So I mean, it's just that people want to be involved in the creative process that as you go through this.
Yeah, absolutely. They want their names in the credits. They want to have a T-shirt. They want to use the app, whatever it is. Maybe have utility or a fun game.
So it's like if you were a movie producer and I gave you a credit at the end of the movie, huh?
Right. Credits or different things. Yeah. Some people let you name a character, things like that.
So now yours was a trivia game, right? Now you had to build this, and you said you needed like 20,000 questions or something.
Right. Yeah, it takes a lot of questions. I think we eventually had about 60,000 users, and you got to have enough questions to support them. So
wait a minute, you had 60,000 users?
Yeah, after about 9 months, we got to about 60,000 users.
Wow, no kidding. And that's in the iPhone store or what?
Right. It's on iPhone in the App Store.
Wow, is this a free app or you charge or what?
There's a free version, and then there's a paid version that the ads go away.
Right. Well, 60,000. I mean, that's incredible. Right. So you get $3,000. That gives you enough money to fund doing the app, actually. I mean, to get the research done and all that.
Well, we have money from different locations. App Story was one of them, and we did some other ones too, private investment stuff like that. But ultimately, we were able to sell it on a website called Apptopia.
Apptopia. And so you took your complete once you got the seed money to finish it, then you took the Apptopia, put it on there, and what happened there?
We sold it. We sold it to a company called E5 Interactive, and it's still in the App Store. It's called Trivia with Pals now. And we sold it for $23,000.
$23,000. So when are you going to quit your job?
Right. I wish that was true. Well, I'm still building apps, things of that nature.
Well, another thing you said when you were collecting tens of thousands of questions.
Right.
How did you get the help for that again?
Well, we had a database, and we needed multiple choice questions answered, multiple choice answers. And so we used a thing called Mechanical Turk from Amazon
Mechanical
to gather
Turk.
up answers. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what is that, like freelancers that help you do this, or what?
Yeah, they do something called human intelligence tasks. So basically anything, small amounts of writing or categorizing pictures, and you pay them a quarter, $1, whatever, to do a small little task over and over again.
Really? Yeah. So in other words, you would take, say you needed, here's your question, what's the last name of Bozo the Clown or something like that, And you need A, B, and C, so you give them the question and they do the A, B, C, Ds?
Yeah, absolutely. And people love writing trivia questions.
Really?
Or answering trivia questions.
And they charge you like 25 cents per question? That's it? Wow.
I just like doing it, to tell you the truth.
So for $3,000, you can get a boatload of these.
Right.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. I had no idea. I mean, are they usually domestic people or both, or do you know whether
It's
people?
both. I mean, there's some American guys in there and women, and
Yeah.
and there's also overseas people too. I'm sure, or
Right.
all kinds.
Well, they're more American than we are in some of these countries.
Right. They knew the answer to the trivia question. That's all.
Right. No, it really is. So now, what's on? So, are you an app developer by trade, or how'd you get into the app business?
Yeah, I started building apps several years ago. Built one for a friend, and
I mean, just like a friend's app. I mean,
yeah. Well, I
are
was
you
a
an
programmer
IT?
for years. I did websites, and so it just made sense. I bought a Mac, and I already knew how to program, but there's a small learning curve there.
Yeah. So it's no big thing though to learn how to develop an app.
No, I would say it's a big thing, but you can
Yeah.
do it. I mean, there's the materials are out there to learn if you want to do it.
I see. So it is possible like
Right.
that. So if you have a knack for it, you could learn it, I guess, if you want to. But now, I guess, in doing something like App Story, you really don't have to have the app done yet, right?
The
To
idea
get the
is you
money.
tell a story and people buy into it and like it and help you.
Yeah. And so with that money, really, you could hire some talent to help you.
Sure, you can outsource it. You can hire a contractor. You can find people in your area. Lots of opportunities.
So now, after you got the 23 grand, so you said, hey, there's a way to make more money in apps, and what's the app you're building now?
I'm building something called VoteRocket. It's a
VoteRocket. It's not rock the boat. It's vote as in going to the polls to vote, right? Old guys like me screwed it up, yeah. So it's VoteRocket. And what does this do?
It helps campaigns and elected officials mobilize their volunteers, get donations, raise money, tell people about what they're doing and how to, basically helping them get elected.
And it's by using social media through an app or what?
Yeah. You can share the candidate with your friends, shoot out videos, things like that, content, and talk to people around you. It's a full-featured campaign kind of management app that anybody can use. Yeah.
So you're working on that now, and the website is VoteRocket.com, right? And when will that be?
Rocket.
Rocket, I-T, VoteRockit, right?
Got it.
Boy, see, I flunked English in college, even though I have 2 New York Times bestsellers. So and when will that be done?
I'm hoping in the next couple months we'll have.
Oh, really? Wonderful.
Yeah.
So I could check progress. Go to VoteRocket.com and check how you're doing on that, huh?
Hopefully you'll see some candidates on it soon, and
oh, really?
I'm excited about it.
So you got real live data soon, huh?
Yeah, I hope so. We're going to come up and infiltrate DC where you're at.
Wonderful. Well, I mean, if it's an app, because everybody running campaigns, at least in Washington where I know, I mean, like the Obama Mafia, everybody's under 30. Yeah.
Right.
They are.
The ground campaign's the most important, so getting out the vote, mobilize your volunteers, things like that.
Boy, I mean, I lived with that for the last 8 years with my son. And I see everybody is under 30, so if you got an app, man, you're talking their language.
Right. Get to the young people. Semi-young people.
Absolutely. Well, that's wonderful, Matt. I'm sure the next one will do better than the first one. So maybe this will be a whole new career now. I mean, doing apps for campaigns sounds like it can be very, very big for you.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. We're getting some traction, and we'll see what the candidates think.
Yeah. Well, everybody wants an app, and Matt has your apps. Thank you, Matt. Pleasure. One of the things that you should be aware of, and that he was talking about, and I didn't even know about it till he was talking about it, is something called Mechanical Turk. Now, this is a service that Amazon has. And it's a place where you can get little jobs, to do things that people can't do on the computer, that maybe do some lookup, find things for people, or what he did, he used it for like he paid 25 cents a question to have people give, you know, how you have a trivia contest and you need 4 answers and the real answer is in there. That made up the question. So he paid like 25 cents a piece for people to make up questions. And he said people love doing that kind of stuff. So if you're looking for some easy part-time work, and all of it's not big paying, but some is, maybe worth it, maybe not. You have to evaluate this. But it's called Mechanical Turk, okay? So look at that. See, these people are giving you new ideas. Who ever thought about looking for and these are jobs you can do right at home on your PC. mechanicalturk.com. Now I want you to meet Johnny Tan, a great guy. He's a young fella just out of school, agriculture school actually, in Hong Kong. But he developed an app for the phone because he lives in a big city, you know, and he's wondering who the people are that he sees every day, you know, traveling back and forth to school or work or whatever, because it's all, he has no idea about it. So you could belong to this app, you know, when he gets it up, and know the people around you because it works by Bluetooth. So anybody in that range, you'll pop up there on the app, so you know if you have to get a translation to German, that the guy over there speaks German, or you need a plumber, you know, the guy 2 doors down from you is a plumber and can help you with that, or you're looking for fresh vegetables and the guy's got them in his backyard, you know, just across the street, you don't even know. So it's a cool thing. So the people that are in your community that you don't even know, you could find out about them. And Johnny just had an idea. He goes to this website, you know, invests like $5 and some time, and now he's got $7,000 and a developer to take that money, develop it, put it in the iTunes store, and you know, who knows what he's going to make? Could be millions. And it's all from his head and $5. And he was able to go on this website, you know, to raise that money and see all the people that give him money to help that get a piece of the action. So they're all his partners. So that's what you could do too. Watch Johnny explain this. Okay, so you're Johnny Tam, right?
Yeah. No.
And you made this incredible app called Souffle.
Yeah,
and I'm such an old guy. I thought you were really making souffles. But it's a social media app, isn't it? To get people together. It's a brilliant idea, Johnny. What does it do now? So what does it do?
It connects family strangers and also help you identify them.
Ah, so like your video is great. You know, on your site, it's on sellanapp.com, and you just put in souffle, right? And you can see the video. And so if you're in a downtown in a crowded area, because of Bluetooth, you could just look on your phone, right, and see all the people nearby, even if you don't know them, and communicate with friends that aren't friends. They're just nearby people.
Yeah, that's it, and also help you find them, and also help you connect. That's about using Bluetooth to search the family strangers around and also record their appearance. So in other
words, if I see a woman on the train across the aisle and she's nice and she's hooked up to souffle, I could say, let me see her Facebook. And and then I could just say, well, hello, Amy, how are you?
Yeah, also add her as friend.
add her as friends, right? Yeah. So it makes people who are close to each other know each other. Right?
That's what the internet now cannot do.
Yeah.
You know, because we can communicate within the United States and also Hong Kong, but really it is maybe I don't know if it is the case in US, but for Hong Kong there's so many people lots of cities there are lots of people, and people pass each other by and really don't know who they are.
Now, our big cities are the same way. You go to New York or downtown Washington, D.C., where I live, right, people, and you see them every day, you don't know them. Yeah. And no, that's why I think this is ingenious, and it's a way to get people together. So you're a Hong Kong genius, aren't you?
Not really. Just a guy that think lots of ideas out of my mind.
But you're also I love the quote you have about from Nicholas Curti, about
Yeah, exactly.
how we could tell, the temperature of Venus, but we don't know how the inside of a souffle works, right?
Yeah. And that's why the food science now become more popular. And because we can maybe the molecular gastronomy, the using some kind of like doing experiments to cook some food, and it will be really interesting. So yeah, then the physicist, Nicholas Curtis, and said those things. Before we have already measuring the temperature in Venus, we do not know what really goes on inside of souffles. That really coincide with my idea on souffle.
Right.
So I
People could interact that are close to each other is maybe more important than what you in Hong Kong, me in Washington D.C. Right?
yeah. Because for for people living around you, they can really live with you, and also maybe some maybe really has a professional skill that can really help you. And
so as you say in your video where you say like you in Hong Kong can't fix my toilet right now, right?
No, there's just a plumber live near to you.
But if somebody within the Bluetooth radius, and you see their skill is plumbing, man, and he's a neighbor and you didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's really the case, especially in Hong Kong.
Right.
I mean, also in your city is it the case?
Oh, absolutely. In New York, San Francisco, all our large cities are like that. You live in an apartment building. I did a lot of times, and I live this far from somebody I don't know.
Oh, really?
The wall in the apartment buildings.
Yeah.
Is this? I don't know them at all. And that's a big city life.
Souffle can help you in this situation.
Exactly. So
because
if they're on souffle, then I can go, right?
Yeah.
And I know if they're there now, right?
But
Then I would know if they're there now. I mean, I don't know just their address, but I know because they have to have their phone on or whatever now, right? And so I know in the area.
Yeah, that's what Souffle can do for you.
Right. So if I go online, I may have their Facebook page, but who knows where they are? They're not, they're a million miles away. But with the souffle, they're in your area, right?
Yeah, what people who you met every day.
Yes.
Just like when you are going to go to work, and also going to school.
Yeah.
They bypass. They are some dummies pass through by. But
so if we're both on souffle and I see you every day and see I'm studying Mandarin and I could see on souffle, oh, he's from China. Maybe he helped me how to say this in Mandarin.
Yeah, that's really what souffle has its significance. Right, because it's ridiculous for you don't know really there's maybe a Chinese living around you. Then you hire or go to take a bus and go to a long way to go to a Mandarin teacher to learn conversation. But really, just next to you there is a Chinese that can really help you.
Yes.
So it really facilitates a micro community economy.
Yeah, absolutely. And eventually, I mean, I know in big cities, a lot of cities work like that. Even though the city's so big, you go to the same restaurant, you go to the same food store, you go to the same place to get your clothes cleaned, just in the little community there. So those people are just like you, but you don't know them.
Yeah. So
the only way you get to know them if there's a problem, a big problem, right?
Yeah. So, it helps people solve problem by using the resources, especially the skills of people around in their community.
It's sort of like me getting carrots from from California when the right next door to me, the guy's has carrots in his backyard for me. And you're on Sell an App because you raise money there. You're already up to almost $2,000 to get this app made. So to go on Sell an App, it didn't cost you anything, right? To put your app on Sell an App, I mean, it doesn't cost you money to do that, right?
A little. Because I need to pledge the first time before the pledge is really pledged. I need to pledge at least $5.
I see, $5. Oh, so that's no money. You had to pledge $5 to start out, and now you're up to $2,000. You're going to get $10,000, and you're going to have this successful app. Get it built. It's going to be in, iTunes, and you're going to be a Hong Kong millionaire before you know it.
Hopefully. But it's also a long way to go because
but the fun is doing it. Yeah. Good luck to you, Johnny, and thank you for doing this and trying to bring our world together better. And
it's okay. So please pledge if you like this app idea. Please pledge on the Souffle app on Sell an App.
Yes. Okay. Sell an App and just search for Souffle. Just like the souffle, and I'm sure Johnny's a cook. He knows what souffles are about, and how to make a souffle. But he certainly knows how to make an app and knows how to solve problems in our community. So thank you again, Johnny. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See? Why don't you do something? Invent something we need. It costs you what, $5 some time, and you use the web to get the money. Man, it doesn't get better.